opposition pelts stones, vandalized vehicle in protest. Ashok Gehlot breaks silence over Congress presidential poll, says will follow what Sonia decides. Congress leaders say Sachin Pilot could now become the new Rajasthan chief minister. Congress ups the ante against Chief Minister Bommai over graft charges after PCM posters in Bengaluru. Congress launches mega social media campaign against BJP over 40% commission charge. The BJP hits back, pays Congress in the same coin, launches its own poster campaign. Big win for Uddhav Thackeray and his Sena. Bombay High Court gives permission to Uddhav to hold a rally on the Sera at Mumbai Shivaji Park. It is viewed as a murder most foul. 19-year-old receptionist in Uttarakhand murdered, her body dumped in the river. 3 accused, including a Bharatiya Janata Party Neta's son, has been arrested. Foreign Affairs Minister Jai Shankar slams China for saving terrorists from being sanctioned by UN Security Council. Says politics should never give cover to evade accountability. The Foreign Ministry issues an advisory in midst of rise in hate crimes in Canada, asks Indians in Canada to remain vigilant. Violent protests continue in Iran as women burn hijab in public. 31 killed in security forces crackdown. And tennis legend Roger Federer plays his last match tonight. He will team up with Rafael Nadal at the Lever Cup in London. All right, viewers, the latest coming in the Congress presidential poll saga. Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot has now confirmed his participation in the Congress polls. He'll be filing nomination in all probability on Monday. Now, with Rahul Gandhi refusing to take charge, the Congress is all set to have a non-Gandhi as its leader. If Gehlot becomes the party chief, there will be and has to be a change of guard in Rajasthan. Sachin Pilot appears to be in pole position. But is he? That's the question.
The Congress is one step closer to a Gandhi Mukt leadership and to a change of guard in Rajasthan. Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot on Friday confirmed he will contest Congress elections to pick the next chief.
डेट तो मैं फिक्स अब जाके करूँगा, पर मुझे ये तय है कि मुझे कंटेस्ट करना है। पर मैं देखता हूँ ये पार्टी इनर डेमोक्रेसी की बात है। एक नई शुरुआत हम लोग करें सब मिलके, और मुझे उम्मीद है कि जो हालात देश के हैं उसके लिए प्रतिपक्ष का मजबूत होना बहुत ज़रूरी है। उसके लिए हम कोई कसर नहीं छोड़ेंगे।
Gehlot added that he's contesting the elections as Rahul has made it clear no one from the Gandhi family will take the reins.
देखिए, वो राहुल जी को मैंने आज सुबह काफ़ी रिक्वेस्ट की थी, क्योंकि सभी प्रदेश कांग्रेस कमेटियाँ प्रस्ताव कर रही हैं उनके लिए, पर वो कहते हैं हमने एक बार तय कर लिया कि गांधी परिवार कोई व्यक्ति हम लोग नहीं उतरेंगे चुनाव के लिए, एक बार नॉन गांधी ही अध्यक्ष बने।
With this, the stage is set for a new CM for Rajasthan. The main contender Sachin Pilot has landed in Jaipur, where he met Speaker C.P. Joshi, who is being touted by some sections as a compromise candidate. While Pilot himself is silent on his bid, Gehlot says the final call will be taken by Sonia Gandhi.
ये तो हमारे जो जनरल सेक्रेटरी इंचार्ज हैं मिस्टर अजय माकन, वो और कांग्रेस प्रेसिडेंट सोनिया जी, वो लोग फैसला करेंगे।
Meanwhile, the BJP has trashed the elections in Congress. It has alleged whoever becomes the Congress president, the remote control will remain with the Gandhis. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, so the big questions that we asked this evening, well, with the change of guard, will remote control model in Congress once again come back, even though the man at the helm of affairs, the president of the Congress, will be a non-Gandhi? Will Gandhis give up real power? Who will be the next Rajasthan chief minister is an inevitable question there. The spotlight right now, of course, on the presidential polls where it comes down to the Congress, but also on who will be the Rajasthan chief minister. I want to cut across to our panelists this evening. Rahul Srivastav, National Affairs Editor; Syed Zafar Islam, Bharatiya Janata Party spokesperson; Dr. Ajoy Kumar, Congress spokesperson. Join us. Mr. Kumar, Dr. Kumar, the fact is, the Congress also joining us on the show. I beg your pardon. We also have Rahul Verma, Fellow Center for Policy Research. Dr. Kumar, my first question is to you. The fact is, constantly the Congress is harping on the fact and why the media is obsessed with the Congress holding elections for its next president. The fact is, sir, it's the first time in 20 years where the de facto candidate is not a Gandhi.
Look, Preeti, just a couple of editorial inputs. One is that Gandhi Mukt Congress, we don't see Modi Mukt BJP kind of statement. So just as to your whoever is doing the editing, it's not only it's also not, it's pretty bad language. I mean, and bad English also for that matter. But the important fact is that we are glad you're paying attention, because the other side doesn't have any elections at all. In fact, they're so puzzled with what is political party's election, that they make statement that it's a sham, because they've never done election. Zafar's party have no clue on what is an election. Because I would be really grateful for Zafar to give us 2 minutes of how do they elect anyone except buying MLAs and MPs and etc., because I have no clue on their election process.
Dr. Kumar, the BJP maintains it's an electoral college. There's no vote, but there's an electoral college is what the BJP maintains. But make your point, and we'll cut across to Mr. Islam right after you.
But give me the luxury.
Of course, sir. Of course, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Preeti. So the question again is, so it's the most well-kept secret in this universe that BJP's got electoral college first. The second issue is that the fact that this is the Congress party is the only party, and you've seen the way, whether it's Shashi filing his nomination, Manish Tiwari is planning to, Ashok Gehlot obviously is going to fight. I think it's good for the party. It's also a light to our political opponents, and I'm glad you're paying it. I mean, I would say that the press paying attention to it is also a good thing, because I think all political parties need to go through this process, and we are very proud of our tradition and culture, and the process we are following. I'm in charge of 3 states in the Northeast. We had the election for all the delegates, all the bloc presidents, by the candidates. So I think that process is healthy. It's good for us. It's good for the country.
All right, okay. So, Mr. Islam, Dr. Ajoy Kumar is turning the mirror on you, something which was echoed by Rahul Gandhi yesterday in Kerala, which is, it's all well and good to say that the Gandhis will remote control the new president. When was the last time you held elections? What about your internal party democracy? 2004, when was there even, the farce of a public election for the post of president in Bharatiya Janata Party, all the way in 2004?
Well, Preeti, just do a back testing for Bharatiya Janata Party vis-a-vis Congress Party and see whether there is any family which is the party president in Bharatiya Janata Party, or a commoner within the rank and file who becomes the party president in Bharatiya Janata Party. Certainly through the process, electoral process, one becomes the party president in Bharatiya Janata Party. That's why somebody who was working like a small worker in the party in 80s eventually had become the party president. That only suggests that there is a process for elevation for a quality worker who is contributing within the party and for the betterment of the party. Having said that, just see, I want them to see the mirror and say, do we have ever had an election, free and fair election, where we have chosen other than the sycophants or the family members? Even today, is this the election? It's just merely a farce. I mean, you are choosing Ashok Gehlot as a candidate. That only suggests that he is a. So
it's a selection, not an election.
First, and he is no. Of course, it is a selection, not an election. He is being only told to fight the election, and nobody else. Had they given a chance, likes of Sachin Pilot, to become the party president, then I would have said yes. Somebody who is competent, somebody who has the face, somebody who is young, somebody who is talented is being given the chance, or even for Dr. Ajay Kumar, has he been given the chance to become
But Mr. Zafar
party
Islam,
president or
Mr. Zafar Islam, you know, the Congress has made it clear anyone can fight. In all probabilities, there's Mr. Tharoor who will be fighting. Yesterday, we had Digvijay Singh on our show, and he said very clearly that even I could fight. There's even word that Kamal Nath also might throw in his hat.
So, you have seen that Digvijay Singh said, and finally what he had to say? No, I'm not fighting, because he was stumped in the meeting with Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, that how the hell you are putting your hand up and say that you will also fight.
Yesterday we had him on the show and he still made his intent. He says, I'm thinking about it.
No, thinking means he can think endlessly, but unless he has the commitment of Sonia Gandhi, he will not fight, because all the votes will come from those who will be supported by, or the person who will be supported by Mrs. Gandhi and the family.
Fair enough. You know, I want to cut across to Rahul Srivastava.
Control.
Right. I know. Okay, Dr. Kumar, I'm coming back to you. I want to cut across to Rahul Srivastava right after you. But Mr. Islam, you know, I want to go back to Dr. Ajay Kumar, because you made some pertinent...
I request, I don't know,
Sir, complete.
I just request Dr. Kumar to put up your hand and say, I want to fight election. That's all. Well, if you can do it, then I will understand this is a free and fair election.
Well, he's raising his hand. I don't know if he wants to fight elections. But I think that's to make a point in this debate. But, okay, Dr. Kumar, the fact, you know, one thing is very clear. The proverbial hand of the High Command seems to rest on Mr. Gehlot. The sheer fact that the knives, even before Mr. Tharoor decides or not decides, you know, to ultimately file nominations, the knives are out for him. Your own party spokespersons, thread after thread on Twitter, taking Mr. Tharoor down. Your own Kerala Congress unit, you know, issuing one statement after the other, completely saying we don't support Mr. Tharoor. All of this is quite pretty obvious that it is Mr. Gehlot who's been selected. So it's a selection, not an election.
So Zafar told me something interesting. Look, we are a party where I can raise my hand and say I want to fight election. But in Zafar's case, I would request him not to raise his hand and say he wants to fight election, because it would be seriously dangerous for him. So that's the point number one. The second issue is, which is very important, is that the BJP has got an electoral college, which is true, which is called the RSS. The RSS decides who's going to be the candidate. It's called RSS. In case, if anybody thinks it's a secret, please disabuse yourself of this, that the candidate is decided by the RSS. The third issue, which is most important, I think, is Mrs. Sonia Gandhi has categorically said they're not supporting anyone in the nomination. You might think Gehlot, you might make stories about it and everybody else will say it. But look, Mr. Gehlot is an option. So I would be very clear in saying that Shashi is fighting, and I tell you, the spokesperson who spoke on
Dr. Kumar, you're actually telling us, and I want to bring in Rahul Srivastava into this conversation. Sir, are you actually telling us that Mr. Gehlot is fighting this election of his own volition? Please look at the man. He looks harassed. He really doesn't want to fight this election. It's on his face.
So before Rahul, give me...
Yes, please make your point.
Preeti, the fact is that the spokesperson who spoke, or anybody who spoke, Jairam is very clear, and I think we must be very clear.
Can I just come in for 10 seconds, please?
So let you finish. I'll come back to you, and then
I'll just finish.
My colleague, Mr. Srivastava, is waiting rather patiently. But yes, Dr. Kumar, make your point. Make your point. I'll go back to Mr. Islam, and then I'll cut across to Rahul Srivastava. Go ahead, sir. Make your point.
So anybody who speaks against whether it's any candidate fighting, I don't think it's appropriate. That's right. It goes totally against what we are saying. Jairam has made it very clear, and I request everybody else. I think Shashi filing his nomination is a good thing. That's not a bad thing. And it will make the party stronger. I think the democratic processes get strengthened, and we are glad it's happening. So in case somebody has made that mistake, I think they realized it and they'll stop it. Thank you.
All right. Okay, Mr. Islam, you wanted to come in for a rebuttal, and then I'll cut across to Rahul Srivastava. Go ahead, sir.
No, I just want to make a point that, see, the first family of Congress has achieved many objectives. One stroke of pen, they are achieving many objectives. First objective, they wanted to remove Mr. Gehlot from CM position. So they have been able to, because time and again he was refusing to vacate that chair. So at least they wanted to drag him out from that chair, and that they have been able to, they will succeed in their strategy. Secondly, that They wanted to have somebody who can just listen to them. And the first Parivar, the first family of Congress. So who could be better than Gehlot? Because Gehlot will listen to him, everything, and act accordingly. He has no mind of his own, but he will merely a sycophant. He will do exactly the way he would want, the first family would want him to behave. A third thing which is very important, by putting him there, the first family has killed all the competition. Had they given opportunity to likes of Dr. Ajoy Kumar, Sachin Pilot, Milind Devra, likes of those people who are young, talented, and perhaps better than
Mr.
Rahul
Islam,
Gandhi.
you know, if we talk
They'll
about
never be
young
given
and
a
the
chance.
Margdarshak Mandal,
And they
just
will
3
never give
days
them-
ago you
give them.
inducted a man over 80. You know, Captain Amrinder Singh in your fold. And when we talk about dynastic politics, he also came with his son. But having said that, you made a point, sir. But
He
I
is
want
not leading the party. He is not leading.
Sir, he's with the party. He's over 80 years old.
He is
You've
not
taken-
leading the party.
But he should ideally be the Margdarshak
So,
Mandal. He should be
he-
inducted
he
into
is
the
with the
Margdarshak
party, his
Mandal of the
party.
party. But okay, sir, I'll come back to you. I want to bring in Rahul Srivastava
No,
and
I mean,
Rahul Verma. Yes, sir. Yes, make your point, sir. Make your point. Okay, may I bring in Rahul Srivastava and
all
Rahul
I'm trying to
Verma?
say that he is
All right, there's a lag there. We're going to try and correct it. Rahul Srivastava, I'll bring you into this conversation. You know, the fact is, it's writ clear on Mr. Gehlot's face that he really doesn't want the job. You know, you can see it on his face. He's accepted it very reluctantly. You know, and we saw that with what went down in that last, minute, 12 a.m. MLA meet where he came out and said, Vidhayak decide karenge ki agla CM kaun hoga. You know, the charge, Rahul, which the BJP is making of a remote control president is not really so far from the truth. If you look at the Congress's history, you know Sitaram Kesari's history better than anybody else.
See, Preeti, I hope my English is not corrected by Ajay, my old friend. But the fact is that both the parties don't realize that there is a crisis as far as the selection of a party head is concerned. The crisis emerges that whenever there is a strong leadership which eventually gets to dictate who is going to be the leader, be it election or selection, the final decision is not a very democratic one. Because I will say that though the RSS may be deciding, though the BJP may be deciding, in the BJP, an ordinary worker since 1980s can aspire to be a president of the BJP. A Nitin Gadkari, who used to paste posters on the walls of Mumbai, and Mumbai at one time became the president of the party. Has a congressman ever aspired in the last 3 or 4 decades to be Congress president like Nitin Gadkari had at one time, perhaps? Or a Kushabau Thackeray making to the party top, Jana Krishnamurthy, Venkaiah Naidu. These are all people who started from the grassroots of the party and they rose in an evolutionary manner as far as the top of the party is concerned. So the Congress may have had elections, but I know what the elections were like. The man who was Sitaram Kesari, I have seen how he was pushed out of the chair.
Or Rahul,
The
Jitendra
fact is that
Prasad's
Jitendra
quote to our
Prasad
own
last time
channel.
around contested an election.
Yes, his quote to our own, to our own magazine at that point of
He contested
time.
an election last time around. Yes, and that's why I say that even that election is because the Congress party's top first family controls. It has the pelf. The Congress party depends on it. Even today, the Congress party is depending on them for a reform by putting somebody who's a non-family member. So eventually, the entire exercise has a stamp of the family. When Mr. Gehlot met Sonia Gandhi on Wednesday, what was the agenda? To ensure that he should contest the president's election and not insist that if he is getting the Kohinoor, he should not fight for an ordinary piece of jewelry called Rajasthan. What was the first family doing? The Congress first family was trying to clear the deck for the election of Mr. Gehlot as the next party president. Now, that's not truly election. It's like somebody with deep vested interest is dictating the election. Yes, Ashok Gehlot is a brilliant politician, as good as they come. In the last 40 years, Gehlot has been part of each state, 29 of them, in one way or the other. The man who was the election agent for Rajiv Gandhi when he contested Amethi for the first time, Indira Gandhi's first rally in Jodhpur after emergency, Ashok Gehlot was the organizer. He is a leader who can actually take the Congress forward. But when we come to this criteria element, Preeti, we confuse ourselves. I think the BJP's election process, selection process has suffered, I think, under strong leadership of a Narendra Modi and Amit Shah, because now the decision will not be made maybe even by the RSS, but perhaps by the two. For example, if you see Nitin Gadkari edged out of the parliamentary board. What was that? I don't think it was the RSS. Right. RSS didn't want to send him out. It was the duo which decided. I think it's the caliber of the leadership. Once you have strong leaders at the top, election and selection is all according to their own
I want to bring in Rahul Verma, but Rahul, I'll also ask you, because the point that I was making earlier, Jitendra Prasad, to our own magazine, after that election, had told us, it's a quote that I was actually reading, that at least there should have been a fig leaf of a measure to show to the outside world that this election wasn't rigged, but it was fair. And, on the other side, I want to ask you, Rahul, the fact that if you put a man in a position of power, because Ashok Gehlot is a seasoned mass leader and he's a wily politician if you look at him, do you think that could also change the man? It's happened before with Mr. Kesari.
Preeti, this is a significant and historic moment in Congress party's life. Whether it will be a turnaround of event, that will only depend on who gets elected and how he or she is going to use power. You're absolutely right that once either Mr. Gehlot or Mr. Tharoor or Mr. Tiwari, whoever contests and wins election, are they going to play an instrument to the first family, or they will actually work for the party and try to turn the things around? Anything is possible in politics, and that's why anyone who controls party, for example, in the Congress party, Gandhi family has a big hold on the party. They would not want a politician who can take things on their own hand, right? So either the Gandhi family is ready to let go of Congress party of its own hand for the sake of the party and for the sake of the country, and if they want to keep holding on to the power, no ship can run with two captains.
Right.
It will sink.
Dr. Kumar, I'll bring you back into this conversation. The fact that you are pushing Mr. Gehlot, or at least seeming to push Mr. Gehlot to take the Congress president's chair, pushing him to vacate the Rajasthan chief minister's chair, is that a smart move? You're 1 year away from Rajasthan elections. The Vidhayak Dal, to speak of, the MLAs seem to be standing behind Ashok Gehlot. There is no love lost between Mr. Gehlot and Mr. Pilot. When it actually comes down to tickets in the next 8 months, the party president would seemingly play a bigger role. Aren't you really querying the pitch right before a big election moment? It happened in Punjab, where your two picks, one of them, Mr. Sidhu, is in jail, the other one is in Canada.
So, couple of clarification. I think with Channi, I think he's not well. So I don't know what's in the public. What I've heard that he's extremely unwell. So that needs to be verified. And with Sidhu, it was an old case which was lying. So that's pretty. That was not. It's a bad correlation again on that issue. The second issue is with...
Yes, go ahead, sir.
The second issue is, look, Rahul, both the Rahul said, whether they'll have the remote control or not. I think Mr. Gandhi or the family is damned if you do and damned if you do. The fact is that they have actively pushed for this reform. You must give credit where credit is due. A lot of things which were decided in the Udaipur conclave, where we all sat together, is a lot of things which are, and we understand it. We need that there are certain things which are critically important for the democratic structure. The Congress, by and large, in most of these states, where the state presidents are there or district presidents, and most of them have come up the ladder. They have been booth presidents, they have been block presidents. And so to say that, we don't have a system, 99% of the people who have come through the state level leadership in the Congress, either are from the Youth Congress, which they come elected, or they're from the block president and all. Now, the national level, Rahul has definitely a point on that. But the issue is where the majority of the Congress, where the majority of the party felt that it is critically important. Now, it's a democratic system where majority of the party people feel that Sonia Gandhi ji or Mr. Rahul Gandhi should lead there. Then how we swear by democracy and then say, by the way, this is not acceptable. So that's two things I think which doesn't resound. Now the challenge, I think Mr. Gehlot will be whether it's Shashi Tharoor, all these people who are fighting this election are stellar candidates, and Gehlot ji and every one of them are very remarkable people. So whoever wins the election, I would leave it for, because we don't know who's going to win the election firstly. And as much as we might keep saying it, that if there are more than one nominations for the post, there'll be an election, and then we'll have to wait for it. But the important part is that there comes a time, like I don't think Mr. Gehlot has been pushed. I mean, Preeti, I don't know. I need a course on understanding the body language, which you seem to have.
No, sir, I'll just give you sheer... No. I'll give you sheer statements. I beg Rahul Gandhi to please become the president. Till the nth minute, he refused to even accept he was going to file nominations. He called a 12 a.m. meet with his MLAs. In that meeting, he said that if push comes to shove, I will file in the nomination, but I will hold on to the chair of the Rajasthan chief ministership as well. And then the next morning, Rahul Gandhi in a press conference clearly reminded him of what was discussed in your Chintan Shivar in Udaipur of one post, one man.
Look, I think what Rahul said, Rahul Verma said, and Rahul Srivastava, and even for that matter, Zafar has been extremely, what you call, decent in today's debate. So I would just want to say a couple of things. It's a historical opportunity for the Congress party. I think the process is to percolate it down to every level. We need to do it. It will only strengthen our party, and I think it's a big. And I think the way the Bharat Jodo Yatra is going, the way the people are rallying along with it, I think it's rejuvenation from the above and taking strategic decisions from the top. It will be good for the party, and we need to continuously give a reply, because the other side,
one thing even Zafar Islam will concede. And Mr. Islam, I'll bring you in the fact that whichever way you look at it, it is historic. It's been over 20 years where the de facto candidate for the president wasn't a Gandhi. It's happening now. Something that everybody spoke about, the coterie, which would decide everything for the Gandhi, the G23 letters will be at the behest of the coterie of Rahul Gandhi. Well, that somewhere down the line will fracture, will break here. And in that context, you would admit it's historic in that way.
I don't know whether historic or not, but as Dr. Ajay Kumar was saying, that it is a historic moment for Congress party. To my mind, Congress will become history from here. And you know why? Because Congress will cease to exist if there is no party present from the first family. Because they are the one who, or the president from the family, or the family controls to all these people. If they have interests of their own, they will fight with each other, because everyone aspires to become something.
But Mr. Islam, you're saying in any case the president is going to be controlled by the Gandhi, so how does that matter?
Control this family.
So Preeti,
that's what I'm saying. So it's not an election. That's what I'm saying. That it's not an election. It's a proxy for Rahul Gandhi. It's proxy for Gehlot is a proxy for. That's what I'm saying. Is a proxy for, and everybody understand that he is a proxy for Mrs. Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi, or the first representative of the first family. It's not an election. It's a farce election. It is something which they are
election,
trying to mislead the
selection,
people,
or another coronation. That's separate. Rahul Srivastava. Right. So make your point.
He will only listen to the first family.
So let him finish, Dr. Kumar. Let him finish.
Nothing but a representative of first family.
Okay, representative of the rubber stamp. We've seen it before, all of that. Dr. Kumar, 10 seconds, sir. I'm going to Rahul Srivastava. Yes, Dr. Kumar.
Look, the BJP guys have a problem. They don't understand what is election. You see, so
Dr. Ajay Kumar, please put up your hand. Put up your hand and say that I will fight election.
Zafar, I didn't interrupt you.
No, sir. I'm saying that you are a competent person. You are a competent person. You are a president of one Jharkhand state. Please fight election.
One second. So listen.
Please fight election.
Okay.
Say that yes, it's a democratic process. It's not a selection process.
Maybe he doesn't want to fight the election, Mr. Islam. But Dr. Kumar, go ahead. Make your point.
I'm asking you to fight election.
No, so first, Zafar Bhai, you joined the Congress. become a PCC delegate, and then you'll be eligible to file. Recommend my name.
Okay, I have to go to. Okay, Okay, can you take the personal? Okay,
You are already
can
there.
both of you just
You are
connect
already
on the
there.
phone
Please finish,
on raising your hand? Of
No,
yes.
5 seconds.
Yes, sir.
Please,
Make your
just 5
point.
seconds. Yeah, just 5 seconds. Whenever I speak to the guys in the Bharatiya Janata Party, it's not their fault. They actually have an intellectual challenge understanding elections. It is what the big two guys, 2.5 government people say. You have noticed that only the
But
2.5
it's a little
people in the
rich.
government
No,
who
no, but
say,
this gyan, I'm sorry, Dr. Kumar, this gyan coming from the Congress is very, very rich.
No, but this gyan comes...
No,
this
it's
gyan
very
is a
rich,
public
sir.
knowledge
History
and
stands
it is
testimony. History stands testimony to it. But Rahul Srivastava, you've been wanting to make a point. I just want to quickly, in the fag end of this debate, stir the conversation also a bit to Rajasthan. Would you actually see, it being a politically astute move, Rahul, for Sachin Pilot at this time coming in, taking charge of the MLAs who clearly stand by the president? And when it comes to ticket selection, we all know where the tickets will go to because the president will decide it.
See, Preeti, there are 2 points. One, the answer to your question, since the move, if Sachin Pilot, Sachin met in the Sonia Gandhi a day before he went to Kochi, and I know there was a very clear indication given to him. Next day when Mr. Gehlot met, in fact, Mrs. Gandhi quipped when he was complaining about leaving Rajasthan, is that you are going to get my post. That's a very, very strong statement coming from Sonia Gandhi. Now, given the fact that since the Sonia Gandhi and the first family would be blessing the rise of Sachin Pilot in case he becomes chief minister in place of Ashok Gehlot, I think the MLAs will fall in line. They need the party. So that's not going to be a crisis. I think the real issue what we were discussing is that Ashok Gehlot not wanting to be president. See, Preeti, it is not that Ashok Gehlot के मन में वो लड्डू नहीं फूट रहा होगा कि वो अध्यक्ष बनने वाले हैं कांग्रेस के. It is the circumstances which are a problem. He is not ready to leave Rajasthan because he knows what the presidentship is going to be, even if he is blessed and gets elected as the president. He is going to get elected president at a time when Rahul Gandhi is undertaking a long journey across the length of the nation to establish the Congress party, re-establish the Congress party as a principal opposition, to create an idea of Bharat Jodo, which does not include establishing himself also as one of the most popular leaders of the Congress party. Now that means Rahul Gandhi is not going to be a power center in the Congress party. Of course he is going to be. Now Ashok Gehlot knows that if he is going to be president, Rahul Gandhi is going to be a power center, then there is always a Sonia Gandhi with the biggest veto. He has also seen the time when there was a Manmohan Singh government. He was the prime minister and there was an NAC, there was Sonia Gandhi, there was Ahmed Patel, multiple power centers. And that is why Ashok Gehlot is reluctant. He is reluctant because of the circumstances, not that he doesn't like to be the president of the Congress party. Remember, first time, 3 eligible Gandhi family members, all in active politics, are saying no to it.
Okay, I want to just quickly cut across to Rahul Verma and ask him one quick question before we go. Rahul Verma, who's looked at, the dynamics, permutations, combinations of Rajasthan. What do you see happening? Do you see Sachin Pilot taking over the fag end of the last year before Rajasthan goes to election? A smart idea?
In politics, as Rahul Srivastava rightly mentioned, everything is determined by context and what you can do in those contexts. So, it's like if he's being offered the chief minister position for a year, would he not take it? Is it a bad idea?
He
yes,
wants it for
it's
sure.
a difficult and challenging time, but it again gives him up time for 12 months to prove his credentials. So getting the chief minister's chair is not the most important thing. What he manages to do in those 12 months to revive his own image will be important. Second, you don't know how Sachin Pilot and his camp is going to act in the Congress presidential election. A lot of combination and permutations will be worked out. We don't know whether Sachin Pilot would actually like Ashok Gehlot to become the president of the Congress party. He may actually want Ashok Gehlot to contest and lose the Congress presidency election. So in politics, it's never straightforward calculations. If Ashok Gehlot contests and loses the Congress presidency, Gehlot is finished in politics. And so there will be never a challenge to Sachin Pilot going forward. So don't.
But that
take
might
all
be
these
debatable.
things
You
which
know,
you've seen from-
Rahul Srivastav is a little cagey about that. Dr. Kumar is shaking his head. Okay, last comments, please, and then I'm going to quickly wrap up. Mr. Islam, quickly, 10 seconds, sir.
No, I think I heard Rahul, but I think it looks far-fetched idea because he has already been selected and there is no competition for him. Tharoor will lose election by huge margin.
We don't even know if Mr. Tharoor is going to file his nomination yet. Right. The only one of the two have admitted, Mr. Islam.
If at all he filed. So if at all.
So only one who's admitted
I would really urge. I would really urge that senior leadership of Congress and young leadership of Congress and young leaders from Congress should fight the election, and then there will be election. Then it will be called election where people who have not been nominated or suggested or elected or selected by the first family are in the ring and fighting election for the presidency. Then I will understand that there is election, but it is nothing. It is not election anymore.
I think Preeti, Zafar may criticize the Congress. He has done it all in the program. But he said Congress is going to be history. I think one party which needs the Congress to survive most desperately is the BJP. Congress is the only pan-Indian party, and if the BJP has to create a pan-Indian narrative as far as the ruling party is concerned, it needs a Congress party because its track record against regional players is not very good. And also, regional players don't create a pan-national narrative. So it is the BJP which needs the Congress most. So it will wish that Congress is never history.
All right. Okay, Dr. Kumar, quick, sir, 10 seconds and I need to file out of this debate.
You know, when the BJP makes comments on other elections, it scares me because I hope they're not doing it to the rest of the general election and assembly election. They seem to know everything before the results are out. First question. So I think, no, seriously.
No question, sir. I need to move out of the debate quickly. Okay, I appreciate.
I think it's historic. It's historic.
Okay.
It's an historic moment, and BJP should learn from us. Zafar, please tell those two people to start doing elections sincerely and honestly.
Okay, I appreciate you all, and it's good to know that everybody is filing out of it with a smile on their face. Have a fabulous weekend. We'll know on Monday because at least we know one person's filing nomination, and that is Mr. Gehlot. He said he's going to do it on Monday. Thank you, all four of you gentlemen, for joining me this evening. I want to quickly cut across to our other story we are tracking closely, and that is the RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat, who continued his outreach to Muslim community. He met the All India Imam Organization chief Umair Ahmad Ilyasi in Delhi yesterday. Now, the meeting comes at a time when issues like Gyanwapi and Karnataka hijab controversy, as well as the Waqf board, the land of the Waqf board survey, or even the Madarsa survey being conducted in states like Uttar Pradesh, Assam. Well, the RSS has said the meeting was under its Samvad initiative. After the meeting, the All India Imam Organization, the head of the organization, described Bhagwat as Rashtra Pita and Rashtra Rishi. Ilyasi said the RSS chief had visited the Kasturba Gandhi Mosque at his invitation and interacted with children there. Well, Dr. Imam Umair Ahmad Ilyasi, the chief imam of the All India Imam Organization, is joining us live. Bahut shukriya Ilyasi Saab. Thank you that you're joining us live. The meeting that you had, Mr. Ilyasi, with Mr. Bhagwat, thoda bata payenge kya discussion raha? What was discussed?
मैं सबसे पहले तो इस उनके जो चूँकि हमारे देश के राष्ट्रपिता हैं और राष्ट्र ऋषि हैं और उनका हमारे इमाम हाउस पर, मस्जिद पर और हमारे साथ फिर मदरसे पर जाना, मुझे लगता है कि ये एक बहुत खुशी की बात है। उन्होंने मुझे इस बात के लिए मैं उनका आभार व्यक्त इसलिए करता हूं क्योंकि उन्होंने मेरा निजी इनविटेशन पर वो यहाँ पर इमाम हाउस पर आए, मस्जिद पर आए और मेरे साथ, जो कि 1948 का दिल्ली का बहुत पुराना मदरसा है जिसमें 300 बच्चे पढ़ते हैं, वहाँ मेरे साथ वो वहाँ पहुँचे। तो ये बहुत ही एक खुशी की बात है और एक बहुत अच्छी बात है, एक अच्छा संदेश है पूरे देश के लिए। क्योंकि हमेशा क्या होता है कि चूँकि उनका आना, मुझे लगता है कि ये दो दिलों का मिलना, दो व्यक्तियों का मिलना, दो संगठनों का मिलना, मुझे लगता है कि दो कम्युनिटियों का मिलना, और इससे ऊपर अगर जाएं तो ये भारत का मिलन है। और इससे मुझे लगता है कि पूरे देश के अंदर एक बहुत अच्छा संदेश जाएगा, जो आज की वक्त की सबसे ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है।
इलियासी साहब, आप कह रहे हैं कि आपने शुरुआत भी की कि जो राष्ट्र ऋषि है, राष्ट्र पिता है, वो आए आपसे मिलने, पर इलियासी साहब, राष्ट्र पिता तो गांधी है ना, फादर ऑफ द नेशन तो गांधी जी कहलाएंगे।
ये तो आपने बोला है, मैंने तो गांधी जी से कंपेयर नहीं किया। आपने बोला है कि महात्मा गांधी, मैंने तो
आपने बोला, आपने तो बोला राष्ट्र पिता है।
मैंने तो महात्मा, बिल्कुल मैं अब भी अपनी बात पर कायम हूं, लेकिन मैं उनसे कंपेयर थोड़ी कर रहा हूं कि वो महात्मा गांधी से कंपेयर करके थोड़ी कह रहा हूं। महात्मा गांधी जी ने भी अपने राष्ट्र के लिए पूरा जीवन समर्पित किया। मेरी निगाह में आरएसएस के चीफ श्री मोहन भागवत जी, वो भी तो अपने राष्ट्र के लिए ही समर्पित हैं। उनका जो जीवन है, जो उनका प्रचारक जीवन है, उस प्रचारक जीवन में उन्होंने सिर्फ अपने देश के लिए है तो प्रचारक बने, अपने देश के लिए है तो सिर्फ काम कर रहे हैं। सोना जागना, पूरा जीवन, मतलब यह है कि देश के लिए समर्पित हो जाना, ये कोई छोटी बात नहीं है।
तो
अगर उन्होंने अपने जीवन को त्याग करके सारी चीजें देश के लिए समर्पित किया है, तो मेरी निगाह में वो राष्ट्रपिता हैं।
बोला है। चलिए, बस एक सवाल और कहूंगी, एक सवाल और करूंगी।
बिल्कुल, भारत के राष्ट्रपिता हैं।
इलियासी साहब, जो मुद्दे हैं जो बहुत टाइम से आगे सामने आ रहे हैं, जो मुस्लिम समुदाय है, इस वक्त 2-3 मुद्दे काफी ऊपर हैं उनके जहन में जब भी हम बात करते हैं। एक तो है जो मदरसा सर्वे हो रहा है, जो वक्फ बोर्ड सर्वे हो रहा है, तो क्या इन मुद्दों पे बातचीत हुई है?
हाँ बिल्कुल, मेरी चूंकि ये बहुत अच्छा सवाल आपने किया है, चूंकि बहुत लोग जानना चाहते हैं, पूरा देश जानना चाहता है। देखिए, उनकी ये जो मुलाकात थी मेरे से, ये एक निजी मुलाकात थी। मैंने उनको जो दावत दी, उनको जो इनविटेशन दिया, वो मेरे साथ यहाँ 1.5 घंटे रहे, 2 घंटा मदरसे में भी रहे। हमारा ये जो मिलना है, सिर्फ एक पर्सनल हमारी ये मीटिंग थी, ना कि किसी तरह की और चर्चा करना। हाँ, अलबत्ता चूंकि मस्जिद में वो पहली बार आए, उन्होंने मस्जिद में आए और पहली बार इमाम हाउस में आए, और फिर पहली मर्तबा अपनी ज़िंदगी में वो मदरसे में गए मेरे कहने पर। तो बहरहाल वहाँ मदरसे में जब वो पहुँचे हैं, तो वहाँ 300 बच्चे हैं पूरे देश भर के, अलग अलग जगह के, जो वहाँ रहते हैं। उन बच्चों से उनकी भेंट हुई और बहुत एक अच्छा वातावरण में, और बच्चों को भी, मदरसे को भी, हमको भी, सबको एक बहुत अच्छा लगा जो समय उनके साथ वहाँ बच्चों ने गुजारा। तो मैं समझता हूँ कि इससे एक बहुत देश के अंदर जो मोहब्बत का जो पैगाम जाएगा, वो बहुत बड़ा संदेश है। क्योंकि ये जो तस्वीर जो आप कल से देख रहे हैं, जो मोहन भागवत जी और यहाँ आने का,
तो इलियासी साहब, चलिए, तो फिर ना जो नूपुर शर्मा पे विवाद हुआ, उस पे कोई किसी पे बात नहीं हुई? कोई आश्वासन दिया उन्होंने आपको?
जी, दोबारा बताइए।
जो नूपुर शर्मा पे विवाद हुआ, जो उनका बात पे विवाद हुआ, उन पे बात नहीं हुई? कोई आश्वासन देके गए वो आपको?
नहीं, मेरी उनसे ना आश्वासन की बात है, ना उनसे मेरी किसी तरह की कोई राजनीतिक बात है, ना वो राजनीतिक शख्सियत है, ना मैं राजनीतिक शख्सियत हूं। इसलिए हमारी किसी तरह की कोई चर्चा नहीं हुई। सिर्फ हम यहाँ पर उनसे मुलाकात हुई, हमारा पारिवारिक मुलाकात हुई, और एक जैसे जो पारिवारिक जिस तरह से मिलते हैं उस तरह से मिले। हाँ, अलबत्ता जब वो मदरसे गए तो मदरसे में जाने के बाद, चूंकि उनका पहले विजिट था मदरसे के बच्चों से मिलना, मदरसों के बच्चों से उन्होंने जरूर पूछा। एक बच्चे से पूछा कि भाई आप क्या बनना चाहते हो, तो मदरसे के बच्चे ने कहा कि मैं डॉक्टर बनना चाहता हूं। फिर एक बच्चे से उन्होंने पूछा कि आप क्या बनना चाहते हो, तो एक बच्चे ने बोला कि मैं इंजीनियर बनना चाहता हूं। फिर एक बच्चे से पूछा आप क्या बनना चाहते हो, एक बच्चे ने टीचर बनने की बात कही। तो उन्होंने कहा ये तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, आप आगे इस तरह से आगे डॉक्टर इंजीनियर बनना चाहते हो, लेकिन उसके लिए तो क्योंकि मदरसे के अंदर तो मॉडर्न एजुकेशन नहीं है, उस बच्चे की ये ख्वाहिश हमेशा रह जाएगी। वो बनना तो डॉक्टर चाहता है, बनना तो इंजीनियर चाहता है, और वो कैसे बनेगा। तो इसलिए अगर मॉडर्न एजुकेशन होगी, चूंकि 5 साल पहले ऑल इंडिया इमाम ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ने प्रस्ताव पारित किया था कि देश भर के जितने मदरसे हैं उनके मदरसों को मॉडर्न एजुकेशन देनी चाहिए। इस बात की हमने करी थी, लेकिन अभी रिसेंटली ही 18 तारीख को जमीयत उलमा हिंद ने ये अपना अभी फैसला लिया कि भाई अब जो है तमाम मदरसों को मॉडर्नाइज किया जाना चाहिए। बहुत अच्छी बात है, उन्होंने सर्वे का भी वेलकम किया, हम भी वेलकम
सर्वे का वेलकम है क्योंकि ये मॉडर्नाइजेशन की तरफ जा रहा है। चलिए, बहुत शुक्रिया इलियासी साहब कि आप हमसे जुड़े।
यकीनन ये बदलते भारत की तस्वीर है। ये आज का जो भारत है ये नवीन भारत है।
जी, बहुत शुक्रिया,
नवीन भारत है, ये उत्तम भारत है।
बहुत शुक्रिया इलियासी साहब कि आप हमसे जुड़े। बहुत शुक्रिया सर, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। ऑलराइट व्यूअर्स, वेल दैट यू हर्ड, दैट वाज the Imam there of the All India Imam Organization who met with Mohan Bhagwat, saying that he is like a Rashtra Pita and a Rashtra Rishi, and the All India Imam Organization welcomes even the Madarsa survey because for them it will lead them to modernization of education. I want to now quickly shift focus to the big story of the day, and that is the fallout of the crackdown by the NIA on the Popular Front of India. Now, the nationwide crackdown on the PFI has had a major fallout. The organization took to the streets today, but the call for a dawn to dusk band escalated into violence.
Kollam, Thiruvananthapuram, Kochi, Coimbatore, different cities, one image. The PFI's protest against the arrest of its top leaders across India turned violent in Kerala and Tamil Nadu. The cadre of the hardline Islamist outfit vandalizing state transport buses in Kerala's Kollam. Similar scenes were seen in state capital Thiruvananthapuram, where the PFI workers damaged vehicles.
I'm right now in Thiruvananthapuram and I'm inside a bus, a KSRTC bus, which was attacked by PFI in the morning. The bus was on its regular journey in the morning, and as per the driver, the 3 PFI workers came and asked the bus to be stopped, and once he slowed down the bus, these workers hurled large stones on the front glass of the bus, which is broken. You can see in the visuals, workers in various parts of the state, a lot of buses were stopped and a lot of bus drivers were also injured.
Vehicles were targeted in Kozhikode as well, where violence left many injured. One state transport driver was seen wearing a helmet inside the bus to protect himself from stone pelting. In Kochi, the workers of the outfit tried to close the shops but were detained by the cops. In Kottayam, 2 unidentified men threw stones at a restaurant. The BJP's Coimbatore office bore the brunt of violent protests in Tamil Nadu. A kerosene bomb was hurled at the office of the Saffron Party. The violence has sparked a political face-off in the state.
Without any prima facie, I don't think any will conduct searches and arrest people. Yesterday itself, they have arrested hundreds of people. So we need to understand that this PFI and SDPI are doing something in the state of Tamil Nadu and Kerala.
Whatever they are accusing PFI of, the BJP, their own organizations are doing the same thing. Whether it's Bajrang Dal, whether it's so many of the Sangh Parivar affiliates, they are doing the same thing what PFI is doing. So in fact, their accusation against PFI can also be an accusation against the Sangh Parivar.
The Kerala High Court has initiated suo motu cognizance against the leaders of PFI for calling flash hartals in the state. Hartals were earlier banned by the court. The court said that immediate action should be taken against ongoing attacks. With Shibi Mole in Thiruvananthapuram, Bureau Report, India Today. Viewers, this is a horrific story coming in. The murder of a 19-year-old receptionist, Ankita Bhandari, by the resort owners in Uttarakhand has shocked the state. With the alleged involvement of a local BJP leader's son, the case has drawn nationwide attention. Even though the arrests have been made, the body of the young girl hasn't been found. Here are the details.
A horrific murder sends Uttarakhand into shock. Ankita Bhandari, a 19-year-old girl who worked as a receptionist at a private resort near Rishikesh, went missing 4 days ago. The police now say Ankita is dead. They have arrested 3 accused, including the owner of the resort, Pulkit Arya. According to the police, Ankita was pushed into a lake after a scuffle broke out between her and the resort owner. Her body, however, is yet to be recovered. The State Disaster Response Force is conducting a search to find Ankita's body.
रिसोर्ट का मालिक है, यही इसमें अक्यूज निकला। तो मालिक पुलकित सहित तीनों अक्यूज लोगों को गिरफ्तार कर लिया है। यद्यपि इसमें बाकी कार्रवाई बाकी है और जल्दी वो करा करके भी हम इसको लोगों के सामने रखेंगे।
ऐसी जो जघन्य घटनाएं हैं उस पर जितनी कठोर कार्रवाई हो सकती है उस पर कठोर से कठोर कार्रवाई होगी। अपराधी चाहे कोई भी हो, किसी भी सीमा तक जाकर हम इसको पूरी तरह से जो न्याय है उसके सिद्धांत पर चलते हुए अपना काम करेंगे, पुलिस अपना काम करेगी।
Pulkit Arya's father, who's a local BJP leader, has denied allegations of sexual harassment leveled against his son.
ऐसी बात नहीं है, ये सब बिल्कुल झूठ बात है। ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है। अगर ये साक्ष्य मिले हैं और बालक मेरा अपराधी है, तो जो भी उसके लिए सजा होगी उसको दो आप।
People of Shrikot village, from where Ankita comes, are up in arms. They attacked a police van in which the 3 accused were being taken to the court.
अगर वैसे तो अभी छानबीन चल रही थी, पर अब जैसे खबर मिल रही है कि कुछ भी पता चल रहा है कि ऐसे कर दिया वैसे कर दिया, तो अब हमें बहुत ज़्यादा दुख हो रहा है। अपनी बेटी थी, मेरे गांव की बेटी थी वो।
चल रहा है, हमें पता है कि हमारी बहन के साथ आज क्या स्थिति हो गई है और पूरा युवा एक हो चुका है। अगर दोषी को फांसी नहीं मिलेगी तो हम यहाँ पर।
The opposition has launched a scathing attack on the BJP government.
कब तक उत्तराखंड में भाजपा और आरएसएस वालों का ये तांडव चलेगा, भगवान ही मालिक है। लेकिन अंकिता भंडारी ने एक बार फिर भारतीय जनता पार्टी का चाल चरित्र चेहरा बेनकाब कर दिया।
Meanwhile, 3 accused have been sent to 14-day judicial custody. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, viewers, with that disturbing story, I'm going to slip into a quick break. On the other side, rains lashed parts of Delhi NCR, many parts of the national capital completely inundated, waterlogged.
I noticed something new. You started using a new body lotion. Fun.
I'm so sorry for the delay. I was on another call. It just kept going on.
No, Papa. You were in a steam bath.
Steam bath? At home?
To do steam bath he takes.
Go to your homework.
7:20 already. The kickoff's in 5 minutes. Get all the boys. We have the entire place to ourselves, man. Not working?
Of course it is. But I don't want you guys to be using this bathroom. So use the other one.
Welcome back, viewers. Now, rains continue to lash parts of Delhi and its suburbs on Friday. Many parts of the national capital region completely waterlogged, inundated, affecting traffic movement. More rain is predicted over the weekend.
Inundated roads, cars submerged in water, commuters wade through waterlogged roads. Heavy rains lashed the national capital region for the second consecutive day, bringing life to a halt, leaving commuters struggling to reach their workplaces.
बहुत ज़्यादा दिक्कत हो रही है, पानी स्कूटी बीच में रुक जाती हैं, इतना पानी भरा है, अब जो रेगुलर काम करने वाले हैं वो कहाँ जाएं?
भैया ये 12 महीने पानी ऐसे भरा रहता है यहाँ पे, सीवर का हो या बारिश का हो, अब तो कुछ भी नहीं है पानी, बाकी बाइक आधी डूब जाती है यहाँ पे।
Gurugram remained the worst affected. Water level rose to almost 2 feet at the Rajiv Chowk underpass near the district court.
The question now is, when the administration understands that rainfall occurs every year, why isn't something done to fulfill the promises that were being made to the people? Why isn't the administration waking up? Year after year, we have these horrific visuals coming to the fore where people find it very difficult to walk. Just 24 hours of rain and the city of Greater Noida has now come to a standstill.
Massive traffic congestion was reported on NH48 from Kherki Toll to Hero Honda Chowk towards Delhi. The Gurugram administration advised private and corporate offices to work from home. Schools remain shut in Noida, Greater Noida, Faridabad and Ghaziabad as well. The Met Department has issued a yellow alert in the NCR. It has predicted moderate to heavy downpour at most places in the capital and suburbs over the weekend.
ये जो कारण है इसका मेनली जो इंटरेक्शन है, जो बंगाल का खाड़ी से जो सिस्टम आया था उत्तरी मध्य प्रदेश, वहाँ केंद्रीभूत है, लास्ट 48 आवर्स में कहीं नहीं जा रहा है, और उसके साथ जो पश्चिम विक्षोभ आया है वो इंटरेक्ट कर रहा है, इसलिए अरेबियन सी से मॉइस्चर आ रहा है, बे ऑफ बंगाल पूर्वाया मॉइस्चर ला रहा है, इसके वजह से इतना रेन रिलीज हुआ है.
With many offices shut for the weekend, the impact of rains could be much less over the next 2 days. With Aishwarya Paliwal, Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, viewers, as we in Delhi brace up for a rainy weekend, we hope all of you have a fabulous weekend ahead. Thank you for watching. We'll see you Monday.
It's 7:20 already. The kickoff's in 5 minutes. Get all the boys. We have the entire place to ourselves, man. Not working?
Of course it is. But I don't want you guys to be using this bathroom. So use the other one. Hey, I noticed something new. You started using a new body lotion. Fun.
Tana dir dir dim, tana dim, tana. Tadare dani tana na dir dir dim, tana dim, tana. Takita da, tadeka digina da, tirika da. Dim, tana tanum, tadare dani, tadani dim, tana tanum, tananum, tadere na.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
How about we tell you a story? And like every story, this one too has two sides. So far, familiar script, right? But wait, let's throw in a few surprises. And here are some insights that give you context. And the countdown has begun.
In association with Bharti AXA Life Insurance, do the smart thing. Hetic Fittings, make your furniture work beautifully. LIC, हर पल आपके साथ.
Hello and welcome to an India Today special broadcast. I'm Gaurav Sawant. The radical Islamist organization Popular Front of India hit back. It organized a flash hartal. Vehicles were targeted, petrol bombs were hurled, a hartal was organized. Was this PFI's way of hitting back a day after a nationwide crackdown on this radical Islamist organization by the National Investigation Agency and the Enforcement Directorate? We bring you a detailed report that actually forced the Kerala High Court to take suo motu cognizance of the violence and say enough is enough.
Kollam, Thiruvananthapuram, Kochi, Coimbatore, different cities, one image. The PFI's protest against the arrest of its top leaders across India turned violent in Kerala and Tamil Nadu. The cadre of the hardline Islamist outfit vandalizing state transport buses in Kerala's Kollam. Similar scenes were seen in state capital Thiruvananthapuram, where the PFI workers damaged vehicles.
I'm right now in Thiruvananthapuram and I'm inside a bus, a KSRTC bus, which was attacked by PFI in the morning. The bus was on its regular journey in the morning, and as per the driver, the 3 PFI workers came and asked the bus to be stopped, and once he slowed down the bus, these workers hurled large stones on the front glass of the bus, which is broken. You can see in the visuals, workers in various parts of the state, a lot of buses were stopped and a lot of bus drivers were also injured.
Vehicles were targeted in Kozhikode as well, where violence left many injured. One state transport driver was seen wearing a helmet inside the bus to protect himself from stone pelting. In Kochi, the workers of the outfit tried to close the shops but were detained by the cops. In Kottayam, 2 unidentified men threw stones at a restaurant. The BJP's Coimbatore office bore the brunt of violent protests in Tamil Nadu. A kerosene bomb was hurled at the office of the Saffron Party. The violence has sparked a political face-off in the state.
Without any prima facie, I don't think NIA will conduct searches and arrest people. Yesterday itself, they have arrested hundreds of people. So we need to understand that this PFI and SDPI are doing something in the state of Tamil Nadu and Kerala.
Whatever they are accusing PFI of, the BJP, their own organizations are doing the same thing. Whether it's Bajrang Dal, whether it's so many of the Sangh Parivar affiliates, they are doing the same thing what PFI is doing. So in fact, their accusation against PFI can also be an accusation against the Sangh Parivar.
The Kerala High Court has initiated suo motu cognizance against the leaders of PFI for calling flash hartals in the state. Hartals were earlier banned by the court. The court said that immediate action should be taken against ongoing attacks. With Shibi Mole in Thiruvananthapuram, Bureau Report, India Today.
India Today now gets you details of the investigations, and some of these revelations will shock you. The NIA, National Investigation Agency, has accused this radical Islamist organization, the Popular Front of India, of not just radicalizing youth, but also encouraging them to join terrorist organizations like the Daesh or the Islamic State. Money was funneled through various organizations into the country. And what was the grand plan? To turn India into an Islamic state by 2047.
News is tightening around the Popular Front of India. A day after pan-India raids and more than 100 arrests, the National Investigation Agency has made sensational revelations. India Today has accessed the NIA's petition for transit remand for suspect Yasir Arafat, submitted before a Bengaluru court. The investigation agency alleges the PFI has received foreign funds to aid terror. The NIA is accusing the PFI members of trying to radicalize Muslim youth and coercing them into join terror outfits like the ISIS. NIA sources tell India Today that GPS devices along with 2 wireless sets were recovered from one of the arrested accused, Barkatullah. The agency is conducting a detailed investigation into the matter as to where and how the PFI members were using these GPS devices. The NIA will be questioning 18 top leaders of the PFI separately. All of them will also be confronted face-to-face to verify their claims. The NIA wants to know details of funding, activities of PFI cadres, future plans and their association with terror outfits abroad. NIA sources tell India Today the PFI has launched several subsidiaries to take its agenda forward even if the Islamic outfit and its leaders are banned. It already has multiple wings like the Campus Front of India and SDPI. With Sagai Raj in Bengaluru and Jitendra Bahadur in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
106 PFI activists arrested from 93 different locations across 15 states. This, according to investigators, shows the rot runs deep. Cadre and supporters of the radical Islamist organization, the Popular Front of India, hit back with what many described was a show of strength, hurling a petrol bomb at the RSS office, pelting stones, blocking traffic, forcing shops to down their shutters. But is it high time this radical Islamist organization has its shutters down, perhaps forever? Joining me on India First is SP Vaid, former Director General of the Jammu and Kashmir Police, someone who's dealt directly with radical Islamist terror. Syed Abbas is a political analyst, as is Sanjeev Unyal. My first question is to Syed Abbas. The Phulwari Sharif document of PFI, Syed, it said convert India into an Islamic state by 2047. There is talk of taking to the streets in a show of strength to put the government on notice. Isn't this exactly what PFI cadre and supporters are doing today, sir?
The fact of the matter, Gaurav Saab, I look forward to your show is because it's nation first. Let me tell you, we need to understand here what is the motive, what is the modus operandi. India was a democratic country and it shall always be. In no way will it be any form of a Islamic Rashtra or a Hindu Rashtra. What do we need to understand here? These radicalized elements that we speak about, let me take the first opportunity and blame the Bharatiya Janata Party. 2014 manifesto, they said they will ban the PFI. 2019 manifesto, they will ban the PFI. Is Bharatiya Janata Party even being aware by the national investigation reports? Also, the reports brought that IS terror links with the PFI. What are they doing? Why haven't they gone ahead and taken measures for banning them?
Good point. Let me take this to Sanjeev Unyal. Let me take this to Mr. Unyal. No, that's a fair point you raised, sir. Protests are a democratic right, sir. Why object to protests by PFI cadre and supporters if their leaders have been arrested and if this organization is as dangerous as the government would make it out to be? Why has it not been banned so far, Mr. Unyal?
Previously, these people used to say, Savan, that why they are not taking any action against these anti-nationals. And when they have taken any action after collecting the evidences from last 7-8 years, they have collected each and every evidence that is to be corroborated during the interrogation, and when they'll come in the witness box, then they are again saying this action should not be taken, why they have not taken this action before. So it's very hypocrisy of these people. You'll come to know what PFI is exactly in 2 or 3 sentences. I'll tell you, these were the persons who chopped the hands of Professor Joseph, although he was never belonged. He was a communist man. And what they did, because he has given some lesson in the educational background to that, something told about that anti-Muslim. So they have chopped the hands of Professor Joseph. And I am Indian Muhajuddin has total links with it. And moreover, Kacheri blast, Lucknow blast, Sheetla Mata Vyas, Dasha Meshas blast, Gorakhpur blast, Sankat Mochan blast, Jaipur blast, Ahmedabad blast, Bombay local train blast, 219.
Sir, some of these activities took place in 2005, 2006. Fair enough, the professor's hands were chopped off in 2010. Now this is 2022. The wheels of justice are moving rather slowly, that would indicate. But let me bring this question to Mr. Ved. Sir, you've directly dealt with radical Islamist terror in Jammu and Kashmir. Is there merit in the criticism that actions against the Popular Front of India, action against PFI, is politically motivated? Mr. Ved.
I don't think. In fact, Gaurav, I personally feel already the action was delayed, and such a radical organization should have, when it was spreading its tentacles from Kerala, where it started, it should have been nipped into the bud right then and there. You just can't afford such a radical organization which wants to bring the Taliban type of hardline Islam in India, brainwash the young boys, how to make an ID, how to make bomb, radicalize them, show them emotional videos, look at its Fulwari Sharif's document, how it wants to convert India into a Islamic state. Now, I think such organization should be dealt with a very heavy hand. It is just a facade. Popular Front of India, Campus Front of India. These are all facades. So that when you take action, when India takes action, the countries across the world.
Harsh Realities, which I spent the weekend reading, and it's such a wonderfully written book. My compliments to you. But you in that book too, you mentioned this fact that you tried to get into business schools, but you failed to get admission out there. And in the book, you say that it's a blessing in disguise that you did not get in. Why do you say that?
Yeah. You're absolutely right. I tried getting into a business school in India. I wanted to go abroad, but my father said no, and my father was wise enough not to allow me to go abroad, because I would have come back and joined the family business and I would have been very, very frustrated because it was a typically family managed business. There were no systems, there were no professionals. So the fact that I had to learn everything from the bottom, I think that really helped me. And if I had come back after doing my MBA, I would have been much more frustrated and not gone through the learning curve which I did because I was not educated in terms of postgraduate MBA qualification. So I think it's worked out well in my favor. I don't know why my father said no. Maybe he thought I'll never come back. Maybe he thought I'll get married to somebody else and stay there. I don't have any idea. But those days we were far more obedient as kids, and I couldn't say no to my father. Then, I mean, if you ask me today, my children, if I say no, they will just rebel and do things which they want to do it on their own. But those days it was very different.
Yet, when you went about setting up the company from scratch, Marico, the company that you immersed yourself in, you actually sought out people with exactly that pedigree, all those IIT, IIM graduates, and you recount all of that in your book one by one. All of them came from the best business schools and they had very good pedigree in terms of the companies they worked for. So what you did not have yourself, but you sought out in the kind of people that you populated your company with. Why?
So you're absolutely right, because when I started learning things by referring to some of my friends, talking to some consultants, highly, shall I say, qualified individuals who worked in very good organizations, and that experience of interacting with thought leaders, with very good quality professionals really influenced me a lot in my formative years. So I was absolutely clear that if I had to run an FMCG business, I have to have the best quality talent, best quality in terms of qualifications, attitude, and also overall performance. So I think that belief I developed over a period of few years in my formative years in terms of investing in talent, and I think that has played a very, very important role in the success of Marico. And I always looked at individuals who were better than me because I was not a functional expert, and I had to recruit the best quality marketing professional. I had to recruit the best quality sales professional. And if they've already worked in this sector, then I mean they will bring their experience and they'll be able to add value. And I think many entrepreneurs think that they know it all, and that has been the biggest, I would say, mistake they make. They don't try to recruit somebody who's better than me themselves. And I had a different viewpoint that I have to recruit better than what I am in that particular functional area, and that person should be better than me so that I am able to empower that individual and also delegate to them. I'm not abdicating my responsibility. I'm equally responsible for delegating, but it's easy to empower them because they are far more capable than yourself.
There's an interesting anecdote in your book as well, where Uday Kotak, one of your contemporaries, goes on to say that there are two kinds of companies as he sees it. One is the king and his subjects, family company with the boss thinks he knows everything, and the other is a value-driven company where basically all decisions are taken keeping the firm's interests in mind, regardless of what the owner thinks. And he puts Marico in the second category, obviously. But when you look at the ecosystem today, candidly, Harsh, do you see more in the first category or the second category, all these large companies, king and his subjects or value-driven?
So I would say if they are family managed in terms of the leadership, I think they are more in the first category. The biggest problem I find amongst entrepreneurs in India is that they think the company belongs to them. If you're running a company which is a public limited company, you may be the majority shareholder, you may be the promoter, you may be the founder, but that doesn't entitle you to call yourself owner, especially when you have diluted your ownership to many other shareholders. It's not right to say that this is my company. And I think that is the starting point. If entrepreneurs say that this is my company, I can't say this Marico is mine. Okay, I have a majority holding, that's fine, but it is not my company. And I think I have to be I have to realize that I have to look at all the stakeholders and even the smallest of shareholders, and I have to look at something which is in the interest of the company and not in the interest of promoters. Unfortunately, I think many promoters think that their interests come first and followed by the interest of the company. which is not right.
You know, you've taken Marico to a certain level, Harsh, but now what is the legacy that you leave behind at Marico? Because the turf has changed quite considerably, as you will recognize yourself better than anyone, that when you were bringing the company up, your challengers were, or you were up against the challenge of giants like Hindustan Unilever or Daburs of the world. But today, there are smaller, nimbler players like, you know, the Nykas, the Mama Earths, the Good Glam groups who are nipping away with smaller products, but they're chipping away at the edge and plugging gaps in the market. Is this a very, very different kind of an FMCG universe that Marico has to contend with today?
So let me go a little bit more into this subject. I think the overall FMCG until a few years back was known as one of the most defensive sectors, in the sense that very little of discontinuity was impacting the sector. But what has happened, what you mentioned just now about emergence of what is known as D2C brands, direct to consumer brands, is a big disruption for FMCG. Some of the entry barriers which existed earlier, entry barriers in terms of distribution, infrastructure creation. In the past, you know, you had to distribute your products into thousands, lakhs of outlets to get a certain scale. You had to advertise on mass media like television or press, and that required big budgets. But now, in case of D2C brands, what has happened is you can do digital marketing. You need not advertising on mass media. You don't need to create a distribution network. You can sell it through e-commerce places. So those entry barriers have vanished, and on top of that, there are many funders who are wanting to fund you. Of course, you need to have a good proposition in terms of demand creation. But we have seen brands like Mamaearth and many, many brands which have emerged in the last few years, mainly because the entry barriers have vanished or reduced. And as far as Marico is concerned, there are two ways of looking at it, or any FMCG. One is to look at those entrants from a threat perception, that they will impact me in my core business. Another is to look at it from an opportunistic lens. So Marico, we have done the second part, which we have viewed this discontinuity from an opportunity angle. And considering that, we have acquired 3 brands which are D2C brands. The first brand we acquired was Beardo, which is in beards or beard related products. Second was Just Herbs, which is in personal care, and we just made an application, healthy foods through True Elements. And on top of that, we also have 2 or 3 of our own D2C brands. The thing is not to have the same mindset to manage the FMCG business as you manage the D2C business. So we have put all these 3 brands plus our own brands at a different location, manned by a different team, much younger in age, and they have to work nimbly like a small outfit. And I think the key thing is, can you scale them up? So Beardo, for example, this year we expect to do 100 crore business, and over a period of next 2 years we expect that the D2C brands of ours would, including this 3 acquisition, would add up to about 500 crores of business.
You know, many of them will have some stumbling blocks, and you speak a lot in your book about failures. And how important has that been in your career, learning from the failures, because there have been many? Could you recount 1 or 2 instances where you failed and where you actually got up and managed to actually learn
I can
a lot
give you
from
many more.
That stumble?
Yeah. Unless you experiment, unless you fail, you not learn. And there are limitations to market research. No amount of market research is going to give you all the answers. And there is no shortcut to actually launching products and testing out amongst the consumers, because market research will not give you all the answers. So it's important for organizations to take that risk and study the reaction, the consumer reaction, not only to the product, but the product, the brand name, the packaging, the pricing, and so on, you know. So having said that, many times, you know, we said that you have to do consumer insighting, you have to understand consumer, what they want, and market research has its own set of limitations, and there is no shortcut to actually launching a product or even on a limited scale on a prototype basis. And I'll give you one example. About 8 or 10 years back, we identified a good opportunity to go into baked snacks under the brand name Saffola. At that time, there were no baked snacks. We were the first ones to identify that opportunity and launch a product, baked snacks, under the brand Saffola. But the biggest mistake we made was that we thought that it is under the brand name Saffola, so health is very important. So we gave a preference of health over taste. The product was average in terms of taste, but when it went to the consumer, they want a tasty snack. It's an impulsive product. If you're sitting in the afternoon with a cup of tea or a drink in the evening, you want something which is tasty and just not healthy. So the consumer rejected the product, but there was a huge learning for us in that failure, because after a few years we decided to go into Saffola oats. So we launched Saffola oats, plain oats. We got some market share, and then through consumer insighting we realized that Indians like savory breakfast and they don't like sweet breakfast. So can we do what Maggi did to noodles in terms of providing a range of savory oats? And we then profiled the taste for each and every state. We went overboard on taste. For each state, for example, in Tamil Nadu, we had a Pongal masala oats, and some other states where they require much more sweeter or a much more chili version of, or much more hotter version of oats. We designed our product, and that product has been a huge success. We have an 80% market share in that category. We ourselves have created, which is over a period of last 4 or 5 years, has become 300 crore category. But that learning from the failure of our baked snacks prototype in Bombay market played a huge role in going overboard on taste when we designed the product for Saffola savory oats. So there is always a silver side to any failure in terms of learning, as long as you analyze what went wrong and apply it later in your some other initiative.
I want to ask you, Harsh, about where you would place Kaya in the scheme of things, because as Marico goes, a 400 crores market cap after so many years seems to give the impression that it has not quite ended up where you envisaged it would end up. Would you concede that Kaya could have been bigger, better, smarter? Have there been any mistakes along the way there?
In short, the answer is yes. We could have done a better job. We were doing better, and then all of a sudden this pandemic came in. So last 2 years we've had a terrible time in terms of closure of our clinics. But now, come this year, from April onwards, things have bounced back, and the business has improved. It has gone back to our earlier levels, and we have a new CEO. But we have made mistakes. It's a completely different business. It's a very complex business compared to an FMCG business. It's a combination of 3 different businesses: hospitality, retail, and healthcare. And you have to find the right balance between these 3. We have made some mistakes in the past, clearly, which has put us back. But to answer your question, could it have been better? The answer is clearly yes. We should have done a much better job, accelerated by the pandemic, which had its own impact on our business, especially in the last 2 years.
Time for a quick break here, but we shall return with Harsh Mariwala after this quick break. Don't go away.
安倍さんがね、本当にね、いい人で、もう国葬もやむを得ないとかね、あの人は国葬をやるべき人だっていう意見が多ければ、そういう流れになってくると思うんですけど、全くそういうことじゃないと思いますので、今のね、経済見たってね、アベノミクスが成功したのでしょうかと。
Welcome back. You're watching the Business Today show. I've been in conversation with Harsh Mariwala, chairman of Marico. Now, I want to ask you, Harsh, I mean, the other very significant thing that you've done in your career is almost at the peak of it, you said that I'm going to relinquish the CEO's chair and give it off to a professional, which is something which is very rare in family-run or originally family-run businesses. What prompted you to do that, A? And how do you see succession at Marico from here on? I mean, your son is engaged in the business, but is there a time that you can see that Rishabh might be the one who takes over from Saugata?
So good question. You know, I think when I took that step in the year 2014, I had not thought that I will relinquish my responsibility at that particular point of time. At some stage I had to. But it just arose that, you know, at that time my current CEO, Shaugata Gupta, he was working with me for 10 years. He expressed his desire to be in my shoes, and I discussed that with my board at that time, and we have a very active board, very participative board, and the board felt that it was good that we needed a new blood in Marico, because I had steered the company for many years. So the board felt that I should give him that opportunity and step down, and it will also pave the way for succession for me. I think the starting point was that my mindset was that the company does not belong to me, and the organization's interest comes first and then my personal interest. So though I was not ready to step down, I stepped down in the interest of the company. Of course, society meant that the children, and these days it's a very hierarchical society, children would inherit me, but at that time my son was not ready to some extent, and he was also not that keen to run an operating company. So I took that step, but looking back, it has been a very good step, because, you know, I think it has freed me in terms of doing a lot of new things which I had never thought I would be able to do if I was running the company. And I think our role as promoters has changed. Earlier it was a promoter managed company. Now it is more as a strategic investor driven company where we are the biggest investors. So I don't operate the company on day-to-day basis, but I'm aware of what's happening. I have review meetings with the management and the team. I may be spending 2-3 days a month on Marico, but day-to-day operations, nothing comes to me for decision. As far as my son is concerned, he is already running a very successful investment office, which has done exceedingly well, and he has found his calling in that particular area. So I don't think he would like to step into Marico's shoes, but if you ask me what would happen over a period of time, I think I would like to step down as chairman once, not in the immediate future, but over a period of time. And I'm grooming him to be the chairman of Marico. So he would be something like what I'm doing, but not an operational full-time role as a managing director in Marico. But he would take care of the family's interest in terms of a strategic investor.
Finally, Harsh, there's a very interesting chapter in your book called Angels and Predators. It's wonderfully phrased as well. And you talk about the time when, as a young upstart Marico, HUL got very upset and wanted to buy you, and that offer was rebuffed. Today, you may, as your career ends, you might have another situation where these days the big predator on the block in any industry practically is Gautam Adani. And he happens to be a big competitor with Adani Wilmar for Marico. If Adani came to Marico and said, I want to buy that company, would your answer be the same?
Absolutely same. I am very clear that I have created this company from a perpetuity point of view and not to sell the company. forget about Adani. If I want to sell it, there may be some other buyers also, and there have been many, shall I say, approaches made to me in the past, and I've always said no. So that question of selling out doesn't arise. Number two, I am preparing the company from a long-term point of view in terms of the role of board, what kind of decision the board will take over a period of time. So all the initiatives to drive perpetuity within Marico are being taken today. And if you look at the history of Procter & Gamble or Lever, I mean, they started as family-owned companies, but they have survived over a period of time. So I am viewing myself from that kind of a point of view in terms of Marico continuing in future. The fact that we have a 60% shareholding, the promoter, we are not vulnerable in terms of hostile takeover or somebody buying a stake because you have a minority stake.
Well, Harsh, we'll have to leave it there, but congratulations on a spectacular career and a terrific book as well. And you're a great inspiration to so many entrepreneurs across the country. Wish you all the best for the remainder of your life and what you've done.
Thank you, then. Great talking to you.
Thank you very much for your time today.
I don't read the news. I read between the lines to tell you the true version of events, the true story of our times.
To document grief, the toughest assignment for any journalist to be.
From those who matter.
Women politicians going to stick up for each other.
Of those who should matter. I document the truth. I don't distort the truth. I don't glamorize the truth. I don't gloss over the truth.
The ghosts of India's contentious medieval history have come knocking again.
I hustle for the truth. On the ground, in the newsroom, in the studio. I don't try to grab eyeballs.
I inform you to make you see the point.
To the Point with Preeti Chaudhary. At these times, only on India Today.
Co-powered by RK Marble, Khoobsurat Imandari. In association with JioMart, Har Ghar Ka Mart.
Warm welcome, you're with India Today. These are the headlines. PFI goes on a rampage day after nationwide crackdown. Members of the radical Islamist organization pelt stones, vandalize vehicles in protest. Congress ups the ante against Chief Minister Bombay over graft charges after PCM posters in Bengaluru. Congress launches mega social media campaign against BJP over 40% commission charge. Big win for Uddhav Thackeray and his Sena. Bombay High Court gives permission to Uddhav to hold a rally on Dussehra at Mumbai's Shivaji Park. Ashok Gehlot breaks silence over Congress presidential polls, says will follow what Sonia decides. BJP slams Gehlot, says what authority does Sonia have? Foreign Affairs Minister Jaishankar slams China for saving terrorists from being sanctioned by UN Security Council, says politics should never give cover to evade accountability. The nationwide crackdown on Popular Front of India has had a major fallout. The radical Islamist organization took to the streets today. But the call for a dawn to dusk bandh escalated into violence and vandalism. Public transport was attacked. There was stone pelting.
Kollam, Thiruvananthapuram, Kochi, Coimbatore, different cities, one image. The PFI's protest against the arrest of its top leaders across India turned violent in Kerala and Tamil Nadu. The cadre of the hardline Islamist outfit vandalizing state transport buses in Kerala's Kollam. Similar scenes were seen in state capital Thiruvananthapuram, where the PFI workers damaged vehicles.
I'm right now in Thiruvananthapuram and I'm inside a bus, a KSRTC bus, which was attacked by PFI in the morning. The bus was on its regular journey in the morning, and as per the driver, the 3 PFI workers came and asked the bus to be stopped, and once he slowed down the bus, these workers hurled large stones on the front glass of the bus, which is broken. You can see in the visuals, workers in various parts of the state, a lot of buses were stopped and a lot of bus drivers were also injured.
Vehicles were targeted in Kozhikode as well, where violence left many injured. One state transport driver was seen wearing a helmet inside the bus to protect himself from stone pelting. In Kochi, the workers of the outfit tried to close the shops but were detained by the cops. In Kottayam, 2 unidentified men threw stones at a restaurant. The BJP's Coimbatore office bore the brunt of violent protests in Tamil Nadu. A kerosene bomb was hurled at the office of the Saffron Party. The violence has sparked a political face-off in the state.
Without any prima facie, I don't think any will conduct searches and arrest people. Yesterday itself, they have arrested hundreds of people. So we need to understand that this PFI and SDPI are doing something in the state of Tamil Nadu and Kerala.
Whatever they are accusing PFI of, the BJP, their own organizations are doing the same thing. Whether it's Bajrang Dal, whether it's so many of the Sangh Parivar affiliates, they are doing the same thing what PFI is doing. So in fact, their accusation against PFI can also be an accusation against the Sangh Parivar.
The Kerala High Court has initiated suo motu cognizance against the leaders of PFI for calling flash hartals in the state. Hartals were earlier banned by the court. The court said that immediate action should be taken against ongoing attacks. With Shibi Mole in Thiruvananthapuram, Bureau Report, India Today.
The investigating agency is focusing mainly on PFI money trail. The NIED alleged that the Popular Front of India collected money from Gulf countries as well, and that money was used illegally. PFI is also accused of running and training camps of radicalization.
Noose is tightening around the Popular Front of India. a day after pan-India raids and more than 100 arrests, the National Investigation Agency has made sensational revelations. India Today has accessed the NIA's petition for transit remand for suspect Yasir Arafat submitted before a Bengaluru court. The investigation agency alleges the PFI has received foreign funds to aid terror. The NIA is accusing the PFI members of trying to radicalize Muslim youth and coercing them into join terror outfits like the ISIS. NIA sources tell India Today that GPS devices along with 2 wireless sets were recovered from one of the arrested accused, Barkatullah. The agency is conducting a detailed investigation into the matter as to where and how the PFI members were using these GPS devices. The NIA will be questioning 18 top leaders of the PFI separately. All of them will also be confronted face-to-face to verify their claims. The NIA wants to know details of funding, activities of PFI cadres, future plans and their association with terror outfits abroad. NIA sources tell India Today the PFI has launched several subsidiaries to take its agenda forward even if the Islamic outfit and its leaders are banned. It already has multiple wings like the Campus Front of India and SDPI. With Sagai Raj in Bengaluru and Jitendra Bahadur in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
In public, it proclaims to be a champion of diversity and equality. Kerala's PFI has consistently denied accusations of religious conversions, hawala funding, murderous assault and terror links.
Conversion क्यों? I'm so immorally so I am very much disappointed about hearing all these allegations.
You stand accused of converting people to Islam and using Satya Sarni as a front for conversion.
This is an allegation. This is a baseless allegation. Can you prove that? Nobody can compel or nobody can forcefully convert from one ideology to any other religion.
The woman at the center of the love jihad debate, accused of brainwashing Akhila, helping her convert and then hurriedly arranging her marriage to Shefin Jahan. Zainaba claims she has no hand in conversion. This is what she says on camera. Now, listen to this.
Conversion का क्या procedure होता है?
Conversion नाम पर रहना ये तो ठीक नहीं हो जाएगा क्योंकि उधर पूरा conversion नाम सुनने से प्यार से लोगों गुस्सा आ जाएगा. इसलिए conversion नाम पर नहीं करना है. सेंटर का नाम दूसरा नाम पर हमारे सत्य सारनी इंस्टीट्यूट का नाम पर कन्वर्शन सेंटर नहीं है. सत्य सारनी इंस्टीट्यूट है और चैरिटेबल ट्रस्ट है उसी नाम पर हम शुरू करना है.
That's right. This charitable trust that Zainaba is a part of is a disguise. Her confession only confirms what the NIA said in its dossier on the Popular Front of India. The dossier read, the PFI is running a religious conversion facilitation center called Satya Sarni. Although PFI claims that institution only provides knowledge on Islam, it functions as a religious conversion center. Islamic studies is just a facade. In reality, the PFI Satya Sarni, also called the Markazul Hidayah, is a full-time religious conversion center. Zainaba now explains the modus operandi for the conversion.
कन्वर्सन नहीं हम लीगली नहीं डिक्लेयर करना है. कन्वर्शन सेंटर नहीं है.
ओके.
एक एजुकेशन इंस्टीट्यूट है.
तो फिर आप